setting out so that it shows screen is harder than getting into Harvard.
But people kind of make generalizations like one size fits all. Questbridge application looks into also some of your hardships and how they form your successes.
Like you had financial troubles,
And Stanford was my third pick. I didn't expect to get into Stanford. If you don't really believe in what you're doing, if you don't really care about it, take a little break, just walk outside, do something you like just to kind of get more ideas.
I would imagine it would be around 1500 SAT.
High salaries, good positions. Like, who can say no to that?
Okay, so we can start. Could you please translate your screen with your application?
Amazing. You did it.
On one of the previous interviews that I did with students accepted to Harvard, we were joking that setting up so that it shows screen is harder than getting into Harvard because we had hard time with it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anyway, we can start. So, all right, Edwin, do you want to tell more about yourself? So, well, first of all, like, you can introduce yourself, your background, where you come from, which school you got into, your major, etc. Let's start.
Yeah, my name is Edwin C. Hernandez. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I go to Pelham High School, and I got into Stanford, and I want to major in chemical engineering and business.
Amazing, chemical engineering and business. So, you got into Stanford in the restricted fairly action last year, right, for the class of 2028.
Well, class 2029, but they just gave me the notification like last December.
Last December. Interesting. How did it work? Do you wanna?
I mean, as in like December 2024, like December 2nd.
Let me get this straight. So you applied this year, right?
I applied in 2024 around, let me think, September. And then I received the notice for early action December 2nd.
December 2nd. So you applied last year and they accepted you for the class of 2029?
Yes.
It's very unique. It's very interesting case because usually as to my understanding and to my knowledge, they accept for the class of 2028, isn't it?
Well, it might just be the application I did it through Questbridge, and when they have their college match dates on December 2nd, so it's December 2nd, 2024 is when I got with Stanford, and that was for class of 2029 because I don't graduate till May of this year.
Chemical engineering, you applied last year, but they accepted you to the class of 2029 because of the Questbridge, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's very interesting. And also, what's amazing about getting accepted in the restricted fairly action, especially to Stanford, is because mostly they accept legacy students, recruited athletes, and like the children of major donors. So these are not the only people they accept, but like majority of the people accepted in the restricted fairly action are in one of those categories. Or like if people accepted are not in that category, then it's like super geniuses, like Edwin. That's why we're taking interview from him. So yeah, let's see what was so amazing and extraordinary in your application. So they accepted you, Edwin. Let's do it. So let's start from your academic profile. So like your grades, test scores. Tell us everything.
Gotcha. So overall for my grades, I have a 4.5 GPA, 4.53 on a 4.0 scale, a 33 ACT. I took around 13 APs, but I would have took more. That's about all my score had to offer because I'm not from like a big city school. It's like from a more, I guess it's smaller. They don't have as many APs. They're not as well funded. Yeah.
4.0 GPA, weighted, 33 on the SAT, on the ACT, and 13 AP classes, right?
Yeah.
33 ACT, I would imagine it would be around 1500 SAT, like if we were to compare in that range. So this is just for the audience, for the information. And yeah, respectable stats. Now, what were the extracurricular activities you did? And we could slowly use the screen that you're showing and like go one by one through your honors and your activities.
Yeah, let me go back there. Oh, just guess. Gotta scroll through. There we go. These are the ones I posted on. So the first one will be environmental club. It's something I started on my own at my school in 12th grade. So I'm the president of that and founder. I had PHS robotics, which is like my high school robotics team. I was in it for 3 years, and I was also the president of that in 12th grade and the vice president in 11th grade. I played tuba in the top band 9th, 10th, and 11th, 12th grade. I was also the tuba section leader for my band. I was in the Technology Student Association. I'm the vice president of that. I rode in various competitions in there and have been successful with placing first in a coding competition in Alabama in my 9th grade year and second in a website competition in my junior year. And I'm just a member of the book club since grade.
Oh, amazing. So in the quest bridge, there are only 5 activity slots that you can write.
Yeah.
And do you want to delve deeper into each activity of they did? Because these seem like something that is a lot of people do. But how do you think you differentiated yourself with these activities? So what were the unique parts that you think helped you?
I think one of the most differentiating factors in here is that my school doesn't have the best funding. Currently, Alabama has like second worst education in the United States. So we don't really have these opportunities over here. So I had to make all of this on my own.
Oh,
With
really?
the robotics club, yeah, with robotics TSA, I was one of the first members. So I helped build them from the ground up. And with the environmental club, I founded that myself. I helped get fundraising for it, helped put interest in it, and it ended up being quite successful. And then I put environmental club on the top. What is most important for me is in that I was able to network, make business connections with various nonprofits, organize cleanups, do some local activism, and just get people talking about it. And I think that was something really special that I was able to do over here, and especially in Alabama, with the most diverse freshwater state. There's a lot of work to be done over here.
So these kind of school clubs are not as popular in Alabama, right?
Not quite, especially at the school I was in. It was just picking up when I was over there, and it was a big push and opportunity for me to be able to take this up and make some change at my school in the community.
Interesting. So you were actually one of the few students who were actively engaged in like school life, extracurriculars, right? Inside the school.
Yeah. And I was able to get more students to that because before that, there wasn't much involvement in these kind of things, especially STEM-based programs. So I was really, really able to pick that up.
Amazing. So what was your major? Which major did you apply to?
I applied to business and chemical engineering, and that's for renewable energy research versus the chemical engineering side to get like, how the actual energy can work in renewable energy systems.
Yeah.
And I did the business for like more marketing and getting that out there.
Yeah, sure. From the chemical engineering part, did you have specific activities related to chemical engineering? So I see robotics, right? Robotics and the Science and Math Technology Student Association. Was it related to chemistry? Because usually, like from the experience, universities look for several activities related to the major that you're applying for and several others which just show diversity of your interests. So how was it in your case?
In my case, when I had robotics, that kind of went to the engineering part. But for chemistry, that wasn't really any club offering at my school. It would have been really hard to start because of funding and engagement. So most of the things I do with chemistry, I did at home. I worked 2 jobs at one point. I saved up to buy a chemistry setup and my own equipment, and then I started doing my like own little experiments, make my own little energy systems. At one point, I did some kind of program with a local nonprofit called the Cahaba River Keeper. So they go around and do water quality testing and address other environmental issues through litigation, etc. So I had a program with them, and I had built a like electrolyzer from the money I saved up, and I was able to showcase it at the local zoo, the Birmingham Zoo, and everything. Give a presentation, how it worked, and also some research on the economy as it relates to climate change. So I really had a little segment outside of my clubs. It was more community based and like personal.
Oh, this is very unique, actually. You said water quality tests, right? With the project that you started. Did you indicate it here in the activities?
I indicated it in more of an essay format and like extra knowledge, but it wasn't something below. But it wasn't something that was addressed in the activity slot because I didn't know how to fit it in with this because it was a little more nuanced than straightforward. So
It wasn't as structured as a club or as an association, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How normal is it for your school, for somebody to get into Stanford or Ivy League or any of these top universities?
Well, it's basically unheard of. The last we had, from what I know, was like 4 or 5 years ago. I think we had somebody go to Yale, but it doesn't really happen. Especially in the area. I don't know a single person from Alabama that got an Ivy League. Not saying there isn't there, like because I've been trying to look and connect a little bit, but I haven't seen any from this year so far.
Oh, interesting. So you became a kind of a superstar in your school, right? After getting...
Yeah. Definitely, they really hit down on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Gaming that.
and your environmental club became like really hit in terms of, oh, do this thing and get into Stanford, or like do these activities and get into Stanford. Was there anything like this?
A little bit. It's like people kind of make generalizations, like one size fits all.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's not how it works, but I don't blame those people because we're not really familiar with how to do this. And I mean, honestly, this was a shot in the dark for me. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really heard of anyone. I didn't know of anyone. I was just trying to do something better for myself and my family.
Well, you succeeded.
Think I didn't have there wasn't a full section for me to really display this, so I kind of used it in my work commitment section just to integrate it because I didn't really know how. So kind of integrated like the money I made in my savings and budgeting, and just to add in my reasons for the kind of chemistry thing section.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to have enough money to save up for a car for college, also get practice that money in case emergencies. I also use this money to fund passion projects like building electrolyzer for accreditation for a river keeper. So it was just one little tidbit of that, but and also supplemental applications. Because for each school in the Questbridge application that I want to match to, they ask for extra essays, extra portions, extra information. So I was able to submit little supplements that I could detail more on that, like my personal experience with that journey and trying to improve my chemistry knowledge at home and actively use it for good things.
Yeah, definitely. So here, what was the work that you were doing? You said at some point you worked 2 jobs, right?
Yeah. I worked at 2 restaurants at one point, Cracker Barrel, which is something we got like it's just South US, and Ragtime, which is more of a like restaurant, sports bar kind of thing. And I was hosting at Ragtime, and I was the register and served at Cracker Barrel. So it was just got very busy for me at one point.
Yeah, like I can't imagine how you are balancing two jobs. Were you working them at the same time, plus like environmental club, these clubs, and plus getting good grades at school? Was it all at the same time?
Yeah, it was. I was working two jobs at the same time. Eventually, I let one of them go as I started to pick up more clubs and responsibilities. Because I kind of had to make some sacrifices here and there, but I managed to make it work.
Did you work, as you said, to save up for a car in college for yourself, or was there need to support your family financially, maybe?
There was some need to support my family financially a little bit. Not like I had to pay bills and everything, but I needed some emergency money. I remember one time I had to pay some like electric bills, sometimes get groceries. I paid almost everything for myself, like little school fees. So my mom didn't have to worry about it. Yeah, this emergency money when we needed it. And I'm just usually looking after myself too.
Oh, yeah. This is very interesting. So, paid work, so two jobs plus environmental interests. So, I could really see where your uniqueness is, just to be able to provide for yourself financially, do well in school, and still find time for your community to, as you said, do these little chemistry research with electrolyzer for water quality tests. Yes, so I definitely see the uniqueness. And now let's move probably to the more interesting part, probably most interesting part of the application. Let's move to the essays. What were their topic? How did you come about even like brainstorming ideas and writing them? Like if it's not comfortable for you to read the whole application through the video, you can definitely go and open this application yourself and see it through. Edwin is very generous to be giving free access to it because not everyone actually does. So that's like genuinely a compliment for you, Edwin. And now let's move to your essays.
Yeah. So with my main essay, it came about of thinking like, what can I write about? Because trying to remember the prompt, like unshare for 1 second, just so I can like get to the prompt again.
Sure.
Yeah, it says it was more of a personal essay because the QuestBridge application looks into also some of your hardships and how they form your successes. This is for more low income students and more difficult situations, so it kind of gives you like a little leverage in that instance. But so personal essay, the prompt was to learn more about the context in which you have grown up, form your aspirations, and accomplish your successes. Please describe all the most influential factors and challenges in your life has shaped you into the first word today. So this one was like, it's a very personal thing. And I think for a lot of other people writing on the same prompt, it probably would be, because it's not as broad where you can write about anything. It's more something like you have to choose something that hits hard, some hardship.
Yeah.
And I just wrote about something that happened with my mom a while back. And I really tried to take that experience and hardship and just demonstrate like my personal growth from it, like how I was able to learn and recover from it and really use it to fuel my aspirations. So I kind of took like all the negative and then try to tie it in with my present doings. I feel like that's what really helped.
So your main essay was about the incident with your mother and how that shaped you into like your interests, the things that you were doing in terms of activities, right? You as a person.
Yeah. And it was mostly like about me as a person and like how that fueled my aspirations, not necessarily the aspirations themselves, but like how it changed my perspective on almost everything and like really, really, really helped me grow as a person.
Do you think it is important to have this kind of like negative, not necessarily negative, but this tragic experience and write about in your essays? Do you think it's necessary to have those tragic moments, or can students just write great essays even without?
You can definitely write great essays. It's just you have to take something from it. If there's no growth or demonstration of character throughout the time, then I don't think it would be beneficial, because the way I wrote my essay, it wasn't like bad stuff happened to me and then that's it. I wasn't just trauma dumping. I was like actively trying to input like my character in the situation, and more importantly, how it changed my character, like how like my thought process on the situation too.
So the trauma part was only in the beginning, maybe, right? Just to give context. And most
Yeah.
of it was about your progress, your growth. What did you do with this experience and how did you grow from it, right?
Yeah, it was like a almost written like a story in a way. And
Yeah,
then it
exactly.
moved to like stream of consciousness of me trying to deal with it and then actively applying it.
Most successful personal statements and essays generally follow this format of almost like in movies, like this arc narrative where you go from point A to point B, where you go from encountering some trauma to then trying different ways to solve it. And then through the process, you transform into a different person yourself. And that transformation just shows the admissions reader and makes sense of your entire application. So they read it like, oh, that's why he did these activities, or that's why he's interested in these things. So kind of like connect your application and interest into one, essentially.
Right. And I also think this writing exercise too that they had a portion for really helped as well, because the other one was more like my main essay was more of like character and how that changed me as a person. This one was more of my love for chemistry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, this also was written the same way. I kind of wrote it like a story. And for more context, when I was younger, um, I used to help clean. Like my family, both my parents were janitors. They'd like clean houses, hospital buildings, and sometimes like my dad would take me with him to clean these hospital buildings and just to help him out, especially since like nobody was here to watch me. So we'd go help and everything. And I feel like in those situations, I was able to really get my hands on like chemicals, like the basics of chemistry that I just didn't quite understand, and like just mixing things. I had a fun time with that. I don't know why. I was a kid, and just finding fun of the little things. It kind of helped fuel my love and interest for the way things worked. And yeah, it was just an interesting sense, and it was a weird way for me to get to a love of chemistry that, or for something I didn't know, because I didn't know what chemistry was back then. I was a kid, but it was like a spark that I didn't realize was lit.
So you went to clean the hospitals with your dad, right?
Mhm.
And to do that, did you create some kind of like chemistry related treatment to
It,
wash off those like dirty hospitals?
yeah, it was always very basic, like just mixing bleach with water, maybe like some other chemicals that my dad would instruct me, hey, pour like a cap full of bleach, pour a cap full of pine sol or something like that. But and then sometimes like there was multiple parts to it, and he would instruct me, and I would always ask a lot of questions about that kind of stuff, like why are we doing this? But I enjoyed it, and I just like taking in all the sensory stuff and just being with him too. That was one of the times where I was able to form a good relationship with him, because we did it kind of often because he worked a lot. So when I did get to see him, it was at work or something like that.
So it was both when your interest in chemistry started, but also a kind of a son and a dad time when you're just, spending time together, considering the fact that most of the time you study and most of the time he's at work.
Yeah, this is how it was. And it was very nice because it wasn't much as I was busy because I was still pretty young. It's just he worked a ton. I was probably like 8, 10.
Oh, yeah. You definitely weren't studying back then, I'm pretty sure. Like video games, like football with the boys.
Yeah, I really like playing like the football or like soccer. Say in the US, but
Yeah. Do you play it?
for fun sometimes. But I'm not in the team anymore.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, amazing. Good hobby. What are more essays that you can show and are willing to show? And the part of your application which you believe really impacted the acceptance?
only thing else I really had was the first writing exercise that just asked me what I wanted to do. And throughout this whole essay, I had like 100% conviction in what I want to do, like just to kind of help research renewable energies and get them out there because one, climate change, and to kind of rid energy reliance fossil fuels. So I feel like my overall conviction really helped them have more faith that I could be very competitive there because of my commitment.
Interesting. So your essays, and like just to picture your profile in more general tones, that would be really solid academics, 33 ACT, 4.5 GPA, which is, by the way, even like well above average of students getting accepted. Certain APs, you worked 2 jobs in the restaurants. Like as you mentioned, you dropped one and started doing more activities. Environmental club, student association, considering the fact that in Alabama, it's not as popular maybe to engage in extracurricular activities or to be involved in high school clubs. That's also a unique part, right, that you showcased. And all of that with the info, with the personal story that like you had financial troubles, you had like family incident, as you mentioned, that allowed you to grow a lot. And like this little moments with your dad where you were just cleaning hospitals. Yeah, just a very nice personal application. And I think your application just serves as an evidence that you don't have to necessarily be like international Olympic medalists to necessarily get acceptance into these universities or like cure cancer or like, I don't know, some super crazy stuff. But as long as you're doing to the best of your context, because I'm pretty sure in your context, you did your best essentially. So you worked, you did well in school, and you contribute to your community. In a different context, maybe you could have achieved other things as well. So that's something that admissions officers definitely take into account. And was it only 2 extra essays in the Questbridge supplemental?
Yeah, it was 2 writing exercises, and then they had a personal essay, but that was that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So this essay about answer the question you proposed above, did you say it's more of about chemistry?
And the personal essay or the writing exercises?
This one, like I have always liked to help others and to live in service of God. I must be as selfless as possible. What?
Oh, this one was asking like the motivation. So I was just being clear about my reason. It was I feel like it's more of a character thing and more of like what motivates me. So
yeah, interesting. So you wrote about God here, right? Mostly in your character.
Yeah.
Interesting. And the writing exercise, interesting. Questbridge is very different from Common App, as far as I can tell. What question would you want us to ask you? Why do you dedicate your life to your studies and aspirations? Interesting. How and why do you think this question can be a good application question for you? It lets me express my motives for wanting to educate myself and try my best at everything I do. Very interesting. Is there any other schools that you applied to except Stanford?
Yeah, so how Questbridge works, it's a match thing. So you just kind of rank them, and the one that's the best fit for you, like going down the list that they match you with, that's the school you go to. So I had also put MIT, Caltech, Yale, Columbia. That's the I have on the top of my head. I don't really remember much of the other ones.
Sure. But like from the top ones, this were there, right?
Yeah, and Stanford was my 3rd pick. I didn't expect to get into Stanford, but I'm very happy I did.
But that's life, Fresh. That's how it happens sometimes.
And I wouldn't change a thing about it. So
yeah, definitely. And in my opinion, Stanford is better maybe than the schools that you just listed for your major special.
Yeah, and I started to appreciate it more after the fact because like when I got accepted. I started looking at more of the little details. I'm like, this is actually a very, very, very good fit for me.
You got accepted on full financial aid to Stanford?
Yeah, so that would be for tuition, housing, travel expenses. Like April 24th, 26th, we are having an admit weekend for, everyone here got admitted, obviously. Kind of show us around the campus and everything. And they even like covered travel there. So they like bought tickets for me to fly out, and it's just a lot of financial support I'm very, very grateful for.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's just super crazy. And like for you to understand, for international students who get accepted from all these different countries, like from Africa, from Central Asia, from Europe, these universities like Stanford, they just cover like travel tickets, international travel tickets here, and even like even round trip sometimes. So like to go back to your country to see your family, like the fact that even they're covering these things is very amazing opportunity for students. I think you covered your application mostly, but let's talk about your recommendation letters. Whom did you get them from?
Oh, okay. So, one of my teachers that I got them from, she was my English teacher. She really helped motivate me to want to do better in school. Because at first, I didn't really care. I didn't have any dreams to go to colleges. I was, life was hard. I was like, not the best luck I've had. So I wasn't aspirational about anything. I didn't have like any dreams other than to like clean houses or something like that. I'll just work all my life. And she really, she made me feel smart because she just nurtured everything inside of me. She like, you can do this. Like there is more reason to care about school. You can have something waiting for you. And I thought
A mentor.
that was great. Yeah, definitely. It helped inspire me to do better in school. And I always participate in her class. I was part of book club, so I was in there too. Like she was able to see more the personal side of me because of my writings. So I think that really did help. And she's an amazing teacher. Like it's just downright an amazing teacher.
Yeah, we will send her this interview, like this excerpt. Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to Miss Burnett.
And the second recommendation letter. Did you get recommendation letters from anyone outside of school teachers?
Yes, I got one from the Cahaba Riverkeeper, the person who helped, like, who was coordinating with me and everything. And it was part of the program because it was also an educational thing. Like, remember, we just went around the community too and helped, and we learned about stuff, and we got involved. And her name, or what she did was she coordinated. So she got us all or see all my progress and learning and my impact on the community as well. And that's kind of, yeah,
So this is
in the environmental aspect.
So this is, as you mentioned, a person from nonprofit who has witnessed your growth.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So 3 recommendation letters in total.
So I think the last one, I can't quite recall who it was. I think it was my chemistry and environmental science teacher. She teaches AP chemistry and AP environmental science. So I had her for both those classes. She was really, really involved in helping me make the environmental club. Because I came to her as my sponsor. She helped set everything up, and yeah, and just went from there. We were able to coordinate a bunch of cleanups in the school and the community, and she was a big help, and she really got to witness all of that unfold.
Interesting. English teacher, AP chemistry and environmental science teacher, and a non-profit mentor.
Right.
3 recommendation letters, and also counsel recommendation.
Yeah, I had a pretty decent relationship with my counselor. She was there when I needed everything in the process, and especially when I was a little confused about the application later on, she helped a lot. And
What would be your advice to students who are watching this right now, who maybe even, as you mentioned about yourself, like when you were younger, like don't really care about school, don't really care about these things, but just have the potential to get into these top universities, or who want to get into these top universities but don't really know what to do, or in which activities to engage in, or how to come about with applications in general. What would be your advice to them?
Just try a lot of different things. I mean, it's okay to make mistakes. No, not everything's gonna be smooth and sailing. So just believe in yourself and make those mistakes because you'll be better for it. And like really, it all comes from the heart. If you don't really believe in what you're doing, if you don't really care about it, then there's no reason to pursue it in the first place. You gotta have some soul to it.
So try different things and have genuine interest in the things that you're doing, right? Is your advice.
Right.
Yeah, so our advice would be essentially to the people who are watching us, like, don't do things because you think, oh, if I don't do it, I'm not going to get into Ivy League or I'm not going to get into Stanford. Do them because you genuinely find them interesting. And, like, do things that you would not regret doing even without that acceptance. That would be the logic, right?
And that's basically all of my application because for the longest time, I didn't know or have any hope that I'll go to any Ivy League ever, or like, I guess, Ivy League level. And
University, yeah.
Yeah, like that was just not in my mind. Like I did this stuff out of genuine concern for myself, my family, community, and just trying to give myself and people around me just the best life I could. And it wasn't until the actual Crestbridge application came about that I was like, maybe I'm gonna push a little bit harder. I'm gonna try to wrap everything up, like get my test scores up a little bit. I'm gonna try to polish everything, try to look into how I can make my application better. And so it wasn't until like the very last step, I was like, dang, I gotta push a little bit, just do that shot in the dark, and it worked out for me.
So in your case, it was more about just doing things out of genuine interest, doing things that you genuinely pursue, not because you planned beforehand that, oh, I'll apply to these universities with them, but you just did them out of genuine, like, curiosity, interest to help the community. And then it just happened that things came together and you took the tests and just packaged everything and just was, in one application just applied, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. Most people that I see like get into these universities maybe is like they really plan out everything from like their freshman, sophomore year. Like, I will do this, I'll do that. So they're very, very intentional about building this extracurricular profile. Your advice would be more do engage in activities that you would engage otherwise. Is this correct?
Exactly.
Do you have more advice for students to improve their extracurriculars maybe?
One of the things that I think holds a lot of people back, especially at my school too, is that it's courage. It's just having the courage to really want to take those leadership positions, to start your own. Because I mean, as long as you have courage to speak out and get involved in your community and try to move up in clubs, it will take you very far.
Courage. And what would be your best advice or guidance for students that are watching us who are struggling to write their essays, for example? Did you have the problem of, oh, I don't know what I'm going to write about, or did it just come naturally? And if you had, did you have a writer's block where you just like stuck in one sentence, in one word, and how did you overcome it if yes?
Oh yeah, so it's really, really, really hard to get started because there's a million things you write about. There's a lot of weight, but it really depends on the prompt. Like you need to confront it. You need to be open with yourself. You need to really connect to the prompt on a personal level. If you do something surface level, it won't really show you as much. So you got to think about what you can write about. And if it hits you in some kind of way, that's what you're going to want to write about. It needs to be invigorating, it shouldn't be plain. And if there is a block, then maybe drink some water, take a day or take a little break, just walk outside, do something you like just to kind of get more ideas, or just something else to give you time to recover.
So, by the way, one of the other advices that students give is just put your hand on the keyboard and just write down everything that comes to mind. Like, literally start writing. I'm not really sure what to write, but I'm just writing whatever comes to mind. Okay, by the way, what about this childhood experience that I had? It sounds interesting. Okay. That was when my dad and I talked about this and we did this. So that's how they accelerate slowly. And eventually, just like through raw action, eventually like some draft is going to get written. With your perspective, from you, I'm getting a fresh perspective. I'll just take a break, write it from the heart. Like, don't be afraid to be open with these prompts and to the admissions officers, and just write the story the way it is.
Right.
That's the perspective I'm getting. And
Also, oh, sorry, I agree with you like wholeheartedly with what you said. It's sometimes the best way to write something is just to get started, just to get the typing going from there. Yeah, that does do a lot.
yeah, let's see. Did you already reach out to other accepted Stanford students for the class of 2029? Did you like reach out, have some talk with them?
Oh yeah, I met like maybe a good 6, 7 people I've been texting, just trying to figure out and not feel alone through all of it. And they all have like very unique perspectives and their own thing. But it feels kind of weird because, like I said, there's not really much people I know from the Southeast. Like I know someone in New York, California. It's mostly California.
Interesting. Why?
Yeah, and I think you talked about that earlier too, about maybe some legacy kind of things or
Oh yeah, legacy students. Were there a lot of legacy students you talked?
well, actually, I don't from what I know, I'm not completely sure because I haven't gotten that information from them.
Yeah.
But if I had to assume, maybe a good half of them might have been legacy. But I also met
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a legacy student because like you are just born in a family where your dad or like mother happened to go into Ivy League, and everyone just hates you for having this crazy advantage in into the application process, for some reason. So one of my consultants actually, who has helped a lot of students, is also a legacy student, but she still had to like get those high grades and test scores and do all of those extracurricular activities and still have to go through the process, right? It's not like it's like being handed out these acceptances and financial aids to them. And
yeah,
of course, legacy status gives you boost, some form of boost, definitely, but I feel like again, most of the other work still needs to be done. So yeah,
yeah. So it's not like a free pass.
exactly. There's nothing really wrong with it for having it. I think, yeah, your application is really interesting, man. Just seeing all of the crazy things that students do to get into these schools. Your application is really kind of a break from it because it's like more of really just doing the impact within the community and within yourself that you can, and just reflecting these personal struggles and journey to the admissions officers rather than just like non-profits in 70 countries and like super research published and already won some awards. Like there's a lot of students with those things as well. So yeah, your application is really unique in this way. So which is amazing.
Yeah, just always do what you can. I mean, it's not guaranteed to work all the time, but given your situation, I feel like they'll understand, at least in my case.
Yeah, definitely. So this is essentially the end of this interview. And I just have a question to you, man. So how soon are you going to change your major to computer science after arriving to Stanford?
Okay, I know I got like coding stuff over there, but we'll see if it happens. I mean, maybe if there's some opportunity in there, we'll see. But I'm pretty happy with him, honestly. It's been all that. Like I really like it. I like coding too, but
Yeah, sure. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like
yeah,
people have every interest and then like second semester CS, econ, like full on same things. But you can't blame people, like you can't blame them. High salaries, good positions, like who can say no to that?
oh yeah, especially over there, living.
But I respect your dedication to your Kemenk. Yeah, and definitely good luck with that. So Edwin, thank you very much for coming on the call. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Brother, goodbye.
And stay in touch, by the way. I want to see your journey of like your major, you know.
I will.
Yeah.
You take it easy.
Yeah, definitely.